So, hello everyone. Welcome to the sixth episode of the Real Estate Success Show here with Sean Storrock, and I have the opportunity today to interview Mr. Bryan Decker. Dude, in just over 3 years, this guy's come out of the gate very quickly and literally is going to double his sales from last year at 4 million. He's on track to do just over 8 million this year. So, off to a great start, Bryan. Excited to kind of get into this with you. But give me here just a minute. We're going to do a little opening. Be right back here in 30 seconds.
Sounds great.
All right, Mr. Bryan.
Hi, Sean.
Good to see you, sir.
Hey, good to see you.
First of all, man, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day. I know you are very, very busy. We all are, and
Absolutely.
so hopefully this will be time well spent for anybody who might be viewing us live or anybody who views this in the future. Hopefully we can bring some value to them, Bryan. But why don't we start off? Let's let everyone know a little bit about you and kind of your background, even before real estate, just so people kind of know who you are and then what got you into real estate to begin with.
Well, guy, you got to back up a few years. I mean, I've been kind of doing sales since I was pretty young. I started out in a motorcycle shop behind a parts counter and kind of graduated into the shop and did a lot of sales. I was racing bikes, motorcycles back in the day. And so, that was kind of my environment. And I was selling motorcycles and doing some of those things. And then, actually got into the marine and which is the boat and RV business for a long time. I did that from 88 to about 2008, so we put quite a few years into that, and 20 plus years into the retail world, owning a business, owning a dealership, and then selling and working for a conglomerate, doing some different things. I got the opportunity after that, put some time in the market, in the LED and the solar market. Actually went to work for a Swiss company, traveled over to Asia, China, Taiwan, Korea, all over the world, really, doing mostly solar and LED stuff.
And were you living over there at the time, or were you just going back and forth?
Going back and forth, sitting my rear end on a 747 for
Wow.
hours on end, and it was a good experience, good experience. But because of all my sales background, I mean, I knew somebody that in so many industries, it's who you know, sometimes not what you know when you get hired. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's the truth.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and that's kind of how I landed that position when I got out of the marine and RV business right in 2008 when everything crashed. I mean, the financial world crashed. I mean, it affected everybody, right? I mean, not just real estate. I mean, real estate, we talk about that all the time. How are times different today versus 2008? Because we're having that big market shift right now. So, I went through that whole experience, but it was good. I mean, that market was totally different, and it was a global market, and that's what excites me about what we're doing today. And we'll get more into that, I'm sure. But because we're in more of a global market with the company that we're at, but I left that industry in about 2014. Had my insurance license, so I was doing some insurance stuff, and then I was freelancing for quite a while in the LED market and the solar market. I had some companies kind of hire me out to do some freelance work for them because of all my contacts and different things because of the industry I was in.
Yeah.
And at the time, I actually had a couple homes at the time, because I'd bought one, moved, rented it. We did some different things. And then I ended up selling them. And then through that process, my mom and dad were getting a little bit older. And I really liked real estate, and I went through those transactions, and I did some commercial stuff with our other business as well, but I had an agent that did all of our transactions for us. But
all right,
when coming back to 2014, 15 timeline, I decided that, my insurance license, we kind of ran that out and was doing that for a while, freelancing. And then I sold my homes, as I said, and it just made me think, hey, I want to, great industry. I can buy my own time. The reason I got into it is I wanted to have the freedom.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have somebody have their thumb on me every day and say, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this, whatever. Kind of being my own boss, kind of been that way most of my life. I've been on commission most of my life. So I understand what it takes to, make the hay while the sun shines. You got to put that money away. So for the days that you're not, selling anything.
Yeah.
So I just saw that I thought I would enjoy that, accept my own schedule, do my own thing. And there was good money in it, obviously. I mean, you got to work hard too. It's not going to fall in your lap. But, at the end of the day, so I decided from a friend of mine who worked at Remax, good friend of mine, he said, get your license. You oughta check it out. So in 2019, I did that. I went and got my license. I spent a little bit of time with Remax, and then honestly, I saw the program with the company that we're at with today, EXP Realty, and I got in the business really I wanted to be an independent broker. I knew the power of leverage and having agents, or even having a sales team work for you, and I understood that concept because I did it in the boat and RV business. I owned the dealership and had a bunch of salespeople, and we sold. So I leveraged them, paid them a commission to sell product, right? And I made some profit on that same type deal. And so I understood that whole thing, and that's why I wanted to be a independent broker. Well, that's the reason I got into it. But you have to be in the industry for a couple of years in order to get your broker's license.
Correct.
Well, I ran across EXP thanks to Jeff Morrell and Steve Carruthers, and they introduced me to it and showed me the model, and I picked it up right away, and off and running from there. And it's just been a good experience, ever since. The real estate industry has been a good experience for me, but we've been in good times. Things are changing.
Yeah.
And so time to sharpen your skills, time to just dig a little bit deeper and do the things that you do well, so you can be successful at this point.
Well, let's back up before we go further and dive in where you're at today. Back when you first got started as an agent, kind of talk about that for a minute. Did you join a team? Did you start off solo? How did you begin your career generating leads, sphere of influence? Kind of what was it like when you first got started?
Well, I come in, I didn't join a team. I looked around. I actually looked at the teams that maybe they had some room to come aboard their team and stuff. And I sat down with some of the team leads, and I'll be honest with you, they were taking such a huge commission split for me. I was like, and to me, I was like, you know what, if you're going to take 50% of my commission or more, or whatever the split was going to be, I'm like, I'll sell half as many houses and I'll make the same amount of money. So I'm not going to join a team. I'm going to do it all on my own. Well, and that's what I did. So, and really that's the way I looked at it. I figured, I'm good at sales. I know how to communicate with customers and how to do things. And so really at the end of the day, for me, it was a decision that I'm going to do it on my own. I felt like, I'm either going to swim or sink, on my own, and not have a team dictate to me what I'm going to make or how I'm going to make my money. And so that's the direction I went. I think having a team for a lot of people, even some new agents, is a good thing, for the simple fact that I think for the training, collaborate, some of the collaboration internally and some of those things can be good for a new agent, because they're green, behind the ears, and they don't know what's right, wrong, or what's good or bad, so
exactly.
And to learn systems and do all those things. Well, I did it on my own, and that's the direction I went. And I just felt more comfortable.
So you definitely have to be, I always say, if you're a brand new agent, boy, you have to be a self-starter for one. And you got to be really willing to dig in and engage. And hopefully you have a strong sphere of influence and contacts to come out of the gate. But you know how it is, man. A lot of agents struggle, right? We all know over 80% don't make it in the first few years. They're out of the industry. So how did you do your first year? How long were you at Remax, and how did you do that first year?
Well, I like I say, I was there a very short time. I was there 4 months. Honestly.
4 months. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they were great to me. Don't get me wrong. They gave me some good training, and we went through a lot of things, and I learned a lot. But from that time that I was there, I was really just trying to get myself set up to do real estate. I mean, most of it was getting my social media set up, getting my systems, whether my CRMs, my websites, all the things that I needed to be to run my business. That's what I was trying to do. And so I actively wasn't pursuing a lot of sales at the time, even though most agents need that because they're going to need a commission at the end of the day. But so I was just trying to get all my systems set up so I could be successful. Well, that all kind of, changed there at the end. I still used a lot of the things that I set up when I moved over to EXP, but it was, my experience there was good, but I felt like I was alone. from the perspective that as a single agent internally where I was at inside that company, none of those people or none of those agents wanted to share their secrets. They didn't want to share the things that made them successful. They didn't want to give you all the nuggets that really helped them succeed, to be at whatever level they were at, whether they were
Yeah.
selling 5 million or 50 million. It was kind of you were their competition internally. So they didn't really share much. I mean, they had meetings and, they praised everybody that did well and stuff like that, which is wonderful because they worked hard to make those achievements. But at the end of the day, that wasn't helping me. You definitely got to be a self-starter, when you're on your own. You got to do a lot of things. And I think as an individual, I think you'll go further in life if sometimes if you learn the hard way, and sometimes if you got to do it the hard way, because it's going to set in a little bit, and you got to do it yourself. Somebody's not doing it for you.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I was at. And I think it took a while, and it helped me. My first 2 years, I was dealing with some other stuff, family wise and different things. So I didn't put maybe my full effort into the real estate world that I am doing today, just because I was taking care of family that had bad health problems. And
Okay.
so, my schedule was all over the board. So I set my own schedule, obviously. And that was one reason I did it, because my parents were getting older in life, and it affected, I'm the only child, and it affected me what I was doing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you got to take care of your mom and dad, right? And
Absolutely.
do the things that you need to do and take care of your family. And so that was, for me, it was spending time with them and helping them. That was what I could contribute to them. And then we kind of got things settled all down, everything much, much better. And here we are, almost not quite 3 years into the industry. And now we've got systems in place. We got, things kind of working for us, and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are much better, honestly.
So let's build up to that. So let's go back to the day, because I've never heard this story. So when they first reached out to you to take a look at the EXP model, tell me how that whole thing went down, and what was it that maybe grabbed your attention, and how did you first get exposed to the information?
Well, and believe it or not, I had two people at EXP, and I won't, and I already mentioned one of them, Steve, and I had somebody else reach out to me, and they reached out to me through LinkedIn, because I had a good LinkedIn account, and they actually reached out and say, "Hey, are you open-minded?" And just kind of wanted to talk real estate. And we were kind of going into the winter months and into December. And I'll be honest with you, it was around Christmas time, or a couple weeks before Christmas, and everybody disappeared from our brokerage. I mean, literally, everybody disappeared. They were off doing vacations and doing their Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
It was the holiday season. Well, I was trying to get stuff done, wasn't getting communication well. I mean, so at that particular time, maybe I had a little frustration in me. So yeah, I was open-minded. And I had everybody at that point reaching out to me, because they saw I got my new license, a few months back. So, I mean, other brokerages were reaching out. So I thought, well, I didn't really do my due diligence before with, looking at other companies. I went to Remax because I had friends that went there. You follow somebody that right?
Yeah, let's stop there for a minute, because it's so interesting. When I look back, I've been doing this almost 5.5 years. So many agents right out of the gate, they go to the first brokerage, and you almost just go to whichever one might be the best shiny object that you see, or a friend, and you don't really know how to break down a brokerage and really how to compare them, because you don't have the experience.
Right.
You talk to so many agents that first brokerage ends up not being their home, for the sake of they, again, weren't able to really break down and understand how the models work at different brokerages. So you're only there 4 months. You take a look at this new model over here, and what was some major differentiators that stood out that made you look like this would be a great move for you?
Well, for me, as I said earlier, I wanted to be a broker, independent broker myself, and I wanted to build a team and do that stuff. Well, I saw the model, and EXP allows me to do that underneath their umbrella. I mean, I can build a brokerage within a brokerage, have zero liability, I don't have to carry, have the responsibilities of a normal broker that I would have, carrying E&O insurance and all the different things that you would have to do, and have the responsibility, even the liability of getting sued from an agent doing something wrong. I mean, that's all put on the broker at this point. So I could do the same thing. And not only that, I could go beyond my market. I could go outside, build my my brokerage within the state of Colorado, that's where we're at today, Colorado Springs, or I could take that beyond the borders, outside the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
And even furthermore than that, now we can take that, into other countries that we're doing business with, that, EXP's at today. And I saw that right away. And when I saw this, they actually, we met at a Panera Bread, um, uh, um, restaurant, and Jeff and Steve actually come over, and they did a PowerPoint with me and showed it. I picked it up right away. I didn't understand all the stock part of it. I kind of got it a little bit, but I didn't understand all the, I mean, we get paid at least 5, maybe even 7 ways on stock. And I didn't understand that at the time. And that's been a huge thing for me, not even knowing what I was really getting into initially. And that's really just kind of, from a different standpoint, because of where our companies went since I joined. It's been very beneficial for me, honestly.
I like to almost share with people, if you're seeing this for the first time, it's the stock piece, it automatically happens, you guys. It's almost, I always try to give that analogy, Brian, that, every time you sell a house at any brokerage, you're going to get paid, but you also here, you get paid a second way in equity stock. So a house gets, get paid stock, house stock, at some point in time. That starts to be a potential retirement income, or even for some agents, an exit plan. So it's become obviously something that's very attractive to those that have been here now 2, 3, 4 years, and you're watching that accumulate. And we know several agents that now have several $100,000, and some are up over 7 figures in less than 5 years worth of stock, doing nothing different than they were doing. So speak also to, so you last year, which was really only your second year, and you did 4 million, and you're about to double it. So you really didn't even do a lot that first year. Like you said, you were spending time with your family, getting them situated, your mom, your dad, and all that kind of stuff. So to really come out your first year for the most part and do 4 million, that speaks volumes to me, Brian, on your character and what you're doing and your work ethic. What did you do to come out of the gate when you decided to really, finally, you got your parents settled in, you started to really put your head down and do real estate? What was it that contributed, you think, for the most part, to that $4 million? What were you doing?
A lot of it, I think, is the collaboration that we have as agents internally. I mean, we share a lot of best practices and the things that we do to make everybody successful, right? So, my success is your success, because one tide raises all ships, as we hear all the time. And so, putting the right systems in place, having a superior CRM system, and doing all the things there. And I also, my longtime significant other, Diana, come aboard. She got a real estate license, and so she's in the background helping me, follow up. I mean, and that's been key. I mean, we had this year, it's, I think about 4 months worth out of the year. We're about halfway through the year. She come aboard, and it's made a huge difference in kind of what I'm doing too. Because you do, as a individual agent, you can get so busy, and maybe you're not doing your follow-up properly and doing stuff, and maybe you didn't have the systems in place, or having a system that would help you do those things. And now, going into our third year, or through our third year, we have that stuff in place now, and it's made a big difference for us, on what, sorry, we're going to move this so we're not, so the sun's not in the background there, but
good.
It just made a big difference in follow up and connecting with leads and different people. And but I contribute so much of that, learning from all of our colleagues, my real estate colleagues at EXP. They've made it so easy for training, and all the training that we get, and all the free stuff, and showing us how to for lead generation, and all the things we can do for free that helps our agents, and that's made a big difference. And referral business. I mean, the previous years, I had a ton of referrals this year, and any new agent, that's going to be big. And I think a lot of there's some agents that live on referral business alone. Exactly. And they do phenomenal. I mean, they blow me out of the water, on numbers and stuff like that. I mean, I've talked to agents that do $30-40 million a year just on referral basis, and never spend a single dime on lead generation. And hats off to them.
So how do you, because obviously there's multiple ways to get referrals through our model. What is it? What are you mainly doing right now that's allowing you to get referrals, and how many referrals have you received since being here? Because that is a big thing. Because I do talk to agents, there's some that get 0 referrals, or they're happy to get 1 or 2 a year. What has it been
Right.
like over here? And what are you doing to get those referrals?
Well, some of it, we have a network, a referral network that we're part of, and it's not only, you can do it locally or statewide, but we have one that's geographically the whole U.S. And we can reach beyond that into the other countries that we do too. And I got a referral from Florida, two referrals from Florida this last year. I got one from California, and they reached out to me because I do some specialized stuff with land. I buy land, for some builders, and then because I've learned water rights and I've done, understand wells and some of that stuff.
Get
So I don't know how they found me. I mean, it is a small niche market, but they did find me, and but they found me through whatever avenue through our company, and they reached out to me, and none of these people were buying land. Believe it or not, they were all buying homes. So that you got to get out and work your sphere, and work with builders, work with different people that's going to give you referrals. You can get into so many niche markets that will help you, but I think just being part of those referral networks has been huge. I mean, it's got me 3 or 4. I'm working on a project now. We got 480 residential lots that somebody owns that we're working on right now, and that was another referral out of state, from somebody that owns some property here, and so it can be a big thing for a lot of people, just the referral side of it.
And so are you referring to the referral network within workplace where we got the
I
30,000
am.
plus? Okay.
Yep. And we did that. I just we just contracted a client in out of state that we sent a referral over there, and they just went under contract. So we'll get a referral fee out of that when it closes. So it's we have 80,000 plus agents that you can work with on a referral basis, and hey, I know people that's all they do, and they're very successful at it. So
Out of curiosity, have you engaged in the corporate relocation program?
we are in the process of getting certified for that.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to speak to that for those who might be looking at this, if it intrigues you at all. But that program is on a nationwide basis, and we've just rolled it out here in the last year. I've got a good friend of mine up in Little Rock, Arkansas, Daniel, who's been involved since January, has already had 6 transactions through the corporate relocation program, which is about an average of usually about in Little Rock 300, 350 average, but 6 different transactions have come through that program. Another one I love to share with people is that express offers.
Oh,
Be
yes.
able to give a cash offer so we can now compete against the Redfin and Open Door and so forth. So many different things we have that have really contributed a lot of the growth. So here you're on track this year, do about 8 million. Or do you feel like, are you doing anything different this year that's allowed you to double your sales, or what do you think contributed to this?
Well, I give credit to Diana helping me follow up and doing stuff there, and really just sharpening my skills within my own systems and making sure things are set up, and getting out there and hustling. I mean, I've had more time to work the real estate side too, so it just wasn't all magical that we're going to double our business this year. But now that we've done that, seen that, I mean, our goal was set a little bit higher. I don't know that we're going to reach it. We have enough listings in our system that we could, if we get everything sold, we could potentially be there with that, and any new business will add to it. But at the end of the day, next year, we're going to set our goal high, and we're going to try to even make it even higher, even next year, with everything that we got. So
So let's bring this in for a landing. So if someone's checking this out and kind of, okay, here's a guy that in his really, I'm going to almost say your first full year, but even though it was your second year, but your first year, you didn't do a lot. I get it. You were being pulled away with family and so forth. And every once in a while we have some years like that.
right.
Really go from 4 million, your first really full year of working it, and now about to double it to 8 million. If there's anybody who's kind of checking this out and watching, and they'd love to be able to find out more info about EXP or that kind of thing, what would you say to anyone though who maybe knows a little bit about it, but they want to know more detail and stuff? What would you say to that person who's possibly wanting to find out more about our company? What would you say?
Well, first off, I would find a Sean Sturrock to go talk to. That's what I would do.
Bryan Decker, for that.
Honestly, but just really, if you're really interested, just dive in and do some due diligence. Go talk to, find somebody that's well versed with, the company, and sit down with them and do your due diligence, and have them compare, what you're doing today, and if you were doing something different, what that might look like for you. If it's a situation where you're, at a different brokerage, and just, hey, numbers don't lie. Put the
Yeah.
numbers side by side, and see what it does for you at the end of the day. And see how it changes your life. And honestly, this company in 24 months, it's going to completely change my life, just based upon the things that we're doing as a company. And I think that's powerful stuff. I couldn't do that anywhere else, with any other brokerage, based upon the models, way we get paid, the retirement, and some of the other, I mean, the rev share and the stock stuff that we get. I mean, we won't go too much into that, but it literally, I've seen it change other agents' lives, and I'm out to help other agents do the same thing, help them change their lives. And you can sell real estate along the way. That's the best thing to do. And that's I enjoy that a lot. And so it's a good thing, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Well, guys, first of all, we want to wrap this up. We appreciate anybody who's viewing this or you're going to view it in the future. Feel free to reach out to Bryan or myself. We'd be more than delighted to simply break the model down. And the big thing we'd love to do with anybody who's open is just personalize the model for you, run your numbers, and let you just see what this kind of model could do for you with zero pressure. We're not anything like that, but our
Right.
goal is to help you try to understand why this is the fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate. And if you've never heard, we're growing by about 1,000 agents a week. So there's a ton of value. And Bryan, you did a great job today of sharing what some of that has done for you. And if I asked you one last question, because I'm curious, do you look down the road and go, how much longer do you see yourself doing this? Do you see yourself doing this for 5 years, 10 years? And or is there a retirement day you would like to eventually walk away from everything? Or do you ever think down that far?
No, I have. I mean, everybody, when you're in the one part of the world where, everybody looks at the age 67, where you can get, or 65 when you get Social Security and all those things. And
Yeah.
I'm honestly, you look down the road, that's not that far away. And so I
Yeah.
want to no, I mean, I would like to be able to throttle back and not have to work as hard, obviously. But I think my goal is really to be in there long enough to do things to help other agents, and bring new agents along, and help them do 2, 4, 6, 8, $10 million a year, help them develop systems and do different things, and help coach them and do all those things, and just make them successful too. And I've had people help me, and I just want to return that, and pay it forward. And I think, with this our company, our model, and the things that we have available, would be just ideal, for anybody that, that's looking to better themselves, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bryan, man, we sincerely appreciate it. Congratulations to be where you're at in 3 years. And I know you have made an impact on a lot of agents. You've added a ton of value to the Freedom Team and what we're doing there. And if I did ask you one last question, because we didn't really touch on it, as I mentioned the Freedom Team, can you just touch for just a minute or two? What has that meant to you and to the other agents that we're now working with?
Well, I mean, it's been a blessing in disguise, honestly. The team, the Freedom Team, and what Sean's referring to is, there's a core group of leaders that we have, and Sean's one of them, and they really bring about 3,000 of us together, part of our Freedom Team. And we all work together, collaborate. We do all kinds of self-training stuff to help people with, transactions, gen lead, generate, doing lead gen or social media, whatever it is to help an agent. And I just think, you don't get that in a normal brokerage environment. And it's really about helping somebody else, and that's what everybody's doing in our organization. And it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter whether you're in my own market, or if you're, in Dallas, Texas, or Miami, Florida, or wherever you may live. It doesn't matter. You can plug into our system and have success.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important, because some people get the idea that, you got to be in that market where you're at, or you got to be in Colorado Springs where I'm at, and that's not true. Or you got to be in, your area, in the Texas area, Sean.
Yeah.
And you can get plugged in anywhere in the US. We got people from all over, and many other countries too, honestly. And they're all taking advantage of this. And they're gonna prosper from it at the end of the day.
No doubt. Well, again, Bryan, thank you so much. Anybody out there, let us know if we can help you in any way. Feel free to reach out to either one of us on social media. I'm going to sign off here, just throw a little 30-second episode up. And Bryan, we will chat soon. Thank you so much for your time, brother. Appreciate it.
Sean, appreciate you very much, man. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.